Hello, and welcome back to what is unfortunately the final episode of this lovely Ovdal Lodhum campaign, and things have been going rather swimmingly for us. We are making quite a lot of money. We are going to colonize all of the Serpent's Reach. We have reached the extent of the colonization we can do in the serpentspine here, and we can probably go to war with Skewer Drake before too long. I also want to point out that this is perhaps the best the best ruler I have ever had in any game of EU4 ever. I've had 666s before. I've even had immortal 666s, but I've never had an immortal 666 with inspiring leader, industrious, and powerful mage. This is, I think, if I'd swapped inspiring leader for strict, it's probably my favorite set of traits ever. Unfortunately, because my ruler is so good, we've run into a little bit of a problem. And that is, we have been designated a Witch King by the more jealous and envious group of bastards in the world. Balgar's made himself known as a powerful practitioner of magic and one unbound by the shackles of old laws and regulations, or as the Anbennar sycophants call it, a Witch King. The international community see Balgar as a power-mad leader of a pariah state and an outcast among the diplomatic circles of the world. But who cares? A lion does not concern itself with the opinions of sheep. So, honestly, being a Witch King is a really, really good modifier. You get plus 10% morale of armies, plus 7.5% discipline. Your force limit shoots through the roof, manpower recovery speed, your national manpower, your maintenance goes down. It's just really good. You're just not very good with, like, allies or integrating vassals or any of that kind of thing. But still, it is a big buff to your nation. So, right now, we have 110% discipline because I finished my homunculus, and we have a 4.96 morale. My ally also finished off integrating all of the Deepwoods, and now they are Sarenvar, but hopefully they want to stay friends with me now that I have become an Witch King with my -5 diplomatic reputation. We'll see. While my ally may have united the Deepwoods, they have not yet purged all of the ancient orcish or goblinoid forces within it, so we're going to help them out on that regard. Unfortunately, Sarenvar don't want... I'm very disappointed, but maybe I can release Salicynaeg from them? We'll find out. I guess I'm going in alone. Wait, they're guaranteeing them that... Why? Why are the AI like this? It makes no sense. Who else are you allied with? Marblehead? We can attack Marblehead, right? No. This is unfortunate. We've discovered a mysterious layer of calcite rubble in one of our holds. It seems that strange runic magic has been applied to it. Runes that our runesmiths have never seen before. The purpose of the runes is unclear, and the effect doesn't seem to matter anymore. Such a large and easy to dig through material could give us the opportunity to dig far faster than ever before. This would surely bring great benefits to our hold's construction progress, if we choose to dig here. Now, I need not say warning to be understood. Basically, if you ever come across this in your own dwarven campaigns in Anbennar, this is the Herald of the Obsidian Legion. Either I can say excellent, spend a lot of money and get minus 50% dev cost in Orgelivar over here, or I can just take nothing. If I do this, at some point in the future, not too distant, the Obsidian Legion disaster will fire and they will basically steal half my country and I'll have to fight them, and it's a whole ordeal. I kind of want to do it anyway because it's real fun, but if you don't want to fight the Obsidian Legion, definitely a sign need not say warning to be understood. And I think in this case, because I don't actually have the money on hand, this is what we're going to do. The Obsidian Legion may stay in the Underdark. As Balgar leaves to walk the streets of Ovdal Lodhum today, taking a discreet inspection with his retainers, he thinks briefly to his ancestors. How proud they would be to see the hold flourishing once more. Goods come from within and without the hold's depths, invigorating its many layers with haggling of merchants. Rowdy taverns are bright and boisterous, filled with drunken dwarves either boasting of their ancestors' feats, or snoring dwarves who have drunken themselves silly in delight. On to the industrial sectors, where other senses take precedence over sight. The sizzle of water on tempered steel, the clang of the hammer on metal and wood, ringing across the hold as various guilds re-establish themselves. The scalding heat of the countless ravenous furnaces, fed by the bellows, only makes the king smile. The sound of hammers and bellows seem to resonate within his heart, as the hold's wonder must do for every dwarf that lives within. As the king heads to return home after his fruitful day, one sight mars the visit's ending. Homeless dwarves, thin and weak from malnourishment, something that harkens back to more tragic days. His retainers trace his eyes and quickly note that it is inevitable for there to be dregs, even in such prosperous times as the present. Even during the most glorious times of the dwarves, at the height of Old Dwarf, there are still poor people in slums after all. With a hesitant nod and a lingering gaze, the king moves on, attempting to remove these thoughts to focus on the pressing matters at hand. The fate of the few deviants in society pale in comparison to reclaiming their homeland and riches of their ancestors. The enemy is out there. In here there is naught but joy, wonder, and magnificence. It's as if old Dwarf lives anew in Ovdal Lodhum. All of that for, I guess, a little bit of splendor. My elven allies have finally made moves. They are currently at war with Rosande. And hopefully they call me into this war, because I would like to help them. But right now it seems like they are probably going to be able to do it on their own. Numbers-wise, Rosanda's 21,000 versus the 40,000 of Sirenvar. I imagine they've got slightly better troops as well. For some reason they haven't called me in, but I am able to give them condottieri. So that is what we're going to do. We are going to aid our allies in the woods, because somehow they seem to be a little bit failing. While we help to prosecute this war for Sirenvar, Glogand Cave has finally become self-sustaining, which means we have another mission complete. On a winter day, roughly a century ago, Gerin Orkren stepped foot into the Serpentspine Mountains. He never saw the sun again, never saw another human. On another day, a few decades ago, a human entered Ovdal Lodhum's gates, the first and only human most of us had ever seen. One human who awakened us, reforged us, set us towards a new destiny that we've only begun to realize. He was the first human in Ovdal Lodhum, but even if the rest are 1/10 the man he was, they'd be an asset to our hold. Let us step into the light and invite them here. I will say, on this note, a few decades ago, and roughly a century ago, it's 1559. It's been over that. Maybe I've been going a little slowly. But hey, I will lose 2 units of infantry and get an event in 1 to 2 years. Now we just need to get rid of these orcs in the deep woods, and we will be able to progress even further. We've just begun to receive comprehensive reports from our scouts out of the Serpent's Reach to re-establish contact with the lands to our south. In doing so, we've encountered someone in the territory outside of Glogand Cave, an injured human from the lands of Bulwar, a realm of hills, rivers, and a sand baked by the heat of the sun. This is not the first time in our memory that we have found a human seeking sanctuary and respite. We have learned that he is a Gelkali, from the lands often known as Gelkalis, and of that realm's plight. His homeland struggles, or suffers. The grasp we hold of his language is poor, so it's difficult to make out one from another, but we've learned goblins came in hordes to his people's lands. A tide of goblins spawned by Dukinson's war to unite the orc clans, no doubt, and the elves of another kind have essentially made humanity second-class citizens in their own realms. A species of winged women birds in our records indicate to be called harpies have also harassed this land for centuries, abducting males of many species in order to mate and propagate their own kind. Bulwar is a land torn by struggle and strife, and it seems orcs aren't the only evil out there. The animosity between the peoples of the Serpentspine is ancient and storied, a tale written in blood and iron, scrawled on the stony halls of the Dwarvar. The generations of conflict between dwarves, goblins, and orcs have created a broad and general distrust, an assumption that the other desires nothing more than to kill and take what little of each people have. Whisper tales of atrocities and glorious revenge are told in hushed voices to children at night, to make them fear the boogeymen and raise them to rejoice in their ancient enemy's destruction. So the distrust between peoples is reinforced and compounded, each side believing the worst of their foes, ensuring that conflict will continue to rage whenever orcs, goblins, and dwarves come into contact with each other. In the province of Broken Axe Pass, this atmosphere of xenophobia and paranoia has boiled over into an open conflict between the peoples that live there. It's uncertain how the conflict started, but it quickly escalated into mob violence, with armed gangs patrolling the streets, breaking into homes, looting shops, and killing any members of the other races they laid their hands on. After a gory night of blood and fire, a grip of murderous insanity began to release the mob, and the survivors could begin to take stock of the aftermath. Houses burned, livelihoods destroyed, countless dead, and even more displaced. The minority populations are particularly devastated, and it will take years for them to recover. If they ever do. So what? We don't like goblins. I don't understand the problem here. The war is over, with the army of Gotrek Stormax upon Blades Keep. The enemy have released the 3 provinces that they held to Sirenvar, and we are one step closer to uniting the Deepwoods for our friends. Oh, and they have also released the guarantee of Ublig's Child, so in the not-too-distant future, we will be attacking Ublig's Child for Sirenvar. Before we move on, I've just got to say, prosecuting this fight with Sirenvar, sending just the Condottieri, just shows to me that the AI in this game are only good when they're your enemy. Because they are... Sirenvar have currently in 3,500 ducats of debt. And the biggest problem was they haven't fortified the entrance here. Just put a fort here. Like, please. It's not difficult. Why have you not fortified your entrances to the hold? I've even fortified my entrance to your area. Like, it does... Just... I don't understand why the AI is so bad. And now I can't even bring them into this war because they're so much in debt. I mean, they also have a truce, but, I mean, that's not going to be forever. Just why are you the way that you are? We've entered the woods once more, and with the help of, obviously, my friend Ovdal Lodhum, we have occupied all the land within the deep woods, and we gotta work out how we're gonna get this land to Sirenvar now. I mean, technically, I could potentially take it all and then sell it to Sirenvar. That would work, potentially, but we'll have to wait and see. It's time to make peace. And first off, we'll try and separate peace Marblehead and give as much, I guess, 2 provinces to Ovdal Lodhum. Some coastal provinces is probably the right idea here. And a little bit of money. And get my own troops to head back to my own territory, while I don't know why I'm stuck here. There we go. And then finally, here, with Ublig's Child. I can't give this land to Sirenvar. So what I'm going to have to do, potentially, is take it for myself, and I'll try and give the rest of this to Ovdal Lodhum. We'll fully annex them. Seems reasonable to me. And now with that, I'm going to try and give land to Sirenvar. Wasn't there a thing that I could click that would help, give land to them? Or is that gone now? Yes, here it is. Enforcing unity. I need Sirenvar to be at peace, have no disasters, have low war exhaustion, have manpower, have no loans, have no overextension, and no neighboring country needs to have a truce with Sirenvar. So I guess we just wait until this is applicable. And the reason I want to do it this way instead of selling the province, because I could get, 100 ducats for each province, is because this way I'll get a bunch of mana for it. That's just good. That's just good business. So after quite a lot of time, unfortunately, we have finally managed to, or not we, Serenvar has finally managed to get itself into a position where it's got enough manpower that I can click this button and gain a bunch of points for ceding over these territories to it. So we're going to do that. And now with the territories that we have remaining, I've got a couple of options, right? I can't, unfortunately, sell this even for free to Ovdal Lodhum. They just don't want the land. So I don't want it myself either. So I'm just gonna return province to Ublig's Child, and, you know, if somebody wants to attack it and take it, that's entirely on them. I also did start building a fortress here, but I guess I forgot to let it finish before giving it to Serenvar. So that's money down the drain. They've already cancelled that. That's cool, I guess. One province is all that stands in the way of us and the end of the mission tree, it seems like. We've got a permanent claim on it. There is no truce. You have enough manpower and enough men. Call me in. I'll help you out. Look, they're already under attack. Like, let's go. It's time to go. It's time. Considering that Serenvar are moving all of their troops up to the front, well, what would be the front line if they did attack, and they're building more troops, I think they have the right idea. Come on, Serenvar, it's time. You just gotta attack him. You gotta do it. Please, I beg. They're doing it. They're straight up doing it. It's time. Serenvar, the absolute chads. They're gonna kill Bromance. Get out of here. It's going to happen. Bromance have pieced out with Rasande, and Serenvar are just pouring more and more troops. They're about to sit on the capital. There's no troops, barely any here at all. It's going to fall very, very soon, and Serenvar will take whatever this Virtirn. Few more ticks, and it'll happen. They're sending every elf possible out into Pixieberry. It is going to fall, just sooner or later. Also, apparently they own this. It's done. Take the land. You have 100%. It's time. There we go. And the mission is complete. Every last goblin and orc tribe in the Deepwoods should be destroyed. The Dwarves suffered endlessly at their hands. By our fire and steel, the Wood Elves will not suffer the same fate. I gain power projection, and Orcsfolk gets Garen's glory, giving me taxes, morale, and prestige. The Elves of the Deepwoods have united under one banner and formed the new nation of Serenvar. Though the old clans have now been united, the nation remains divided. One faction wants to cling to how things were and isolate the Deepwoods from the outside world. Another faction, however, rejects this stagnation. They want Serenvar to become a proper nation in its own right, and force for good in the world. The friendship between Ovdal Lodhum and Serenvar has become a symbol for them, an example of what the world outside the Deepwoods has to offer them. They will now pursue an open borders policy. They gain power projection. We gain them as a historical friend, and we gain even more power projection. And with that, we have, in fact, completed the Ovdal Lodhum mission tree. Now, is my game over? Well, for a video perspective, yes, it's going to be a shorter video than usual. But from here on out, you've pretty much got whatever options you want. If you would like to, from this standpoint, you could go up north. You could invade Verkal Kozinad, rid the Deepwoods, sorry, not the Deepwoods, rid the Serpentspine of all orc scum, like on Guldvor and Clouded Eye, retake Amaldir, and form the nation of Old Dwarov. Of course, we could go south as well, killing Skewered Drake, Greedy Grin, and liberating Verkal Gulan from Jadari. Options are open. We could do whatever we want, but I am going to let this series rest as it is, just like we let Garen rest. Garen's glory is here in Orc's Fall, and our enemies have also fallen. Ovdal Lodhum, it's a really fun nation, and I suggest or encourage you to try it out for yourself. It may not be Valentine's Day anymore as I'm recording this or as you're watching this, but I hope your Valentine's Day was full of love and all of that good stuff. It was for me. I had a great night with my wife, so yeah, I hope you had the same. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the series. There will be more coming in the not-too-distant future. I'm not sure what yet. Leave me some comments down below. Give me suggestions on what I should play next in this new editing style that I'm working on. And let me know what you thought of this series. But until then, I will see you then. Bye-bye.